Okay, students, I hope you are all well and healthy and ready to learn a new thing. So, my name is Palak Patel. I am working in the Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari, in Civil Engineering Department. I am going to teach you the subject is Civil Engineering, Social and Global Impact. In this subject, we are going to learn Module 3, Infrastructure. Previous lecture, we covered introduction, importance of infrastructure, impact of infrastructure, infrastructure habitants, megacity, and smart city. We complete these details, okay? And in this lecture, we will cover futuristic vision of transportation. Look at here, so many topics like road, railway, airport, seaport, riverway, sea canal, underground tunnel, and we discuss about this all future vision for transportation. What we can see in the future and how we will upgrade for it. Right? So first of all, we have to understand by the roadway. So for the road, we are going to use shared vehicles. Shared vehicles means micro transit system. Micro transit system, sharing cars, or for a higher services means we can rent a car. We don't have to buy a car. We just going to rent a vehicles for some month and for some days, right? So future we are going to use this type of vehicles, this type of micro transit system in the future. So we have to upgrade for this. Future we have a self-driving drone. Then after maglev trains in the future, working of maglev train you can see by a levitation, and for the propulsion we have a north and south. Hyperloop system. Okay, this is maglev and hyperloop. In explain I will later because there is so many details, right? Then after satellite based air traffic control system. So here is a satellite, and air traffic means a plane. We can watch on a plane by a satellite, right? Then after self-driving electrical bus, we are going to see a self-driving electrical buses in the future, right? So what we have in a self-driving electrical buses, we have a cameras, radars, GPS system, and this system will use and communicate with traffic. Communicate with traffic. Then after we can see elevated buses. You can see here is elevated. It's called elevated. Elevated bus is called a transit elevated buses. It's run on a special tracks. Run on a special tracks, and this allow regular vehicle to drive underneath. Means our vehicle can be passed below it, right? Then after flying hotel ports, you can see these things. These are the flying hotel ports. What we have? We have a drone in it. In the flying hotel port, we have a drone. And this we have as a portable hotels. We don't have check-in in any one hotels. Right? We don't have to find some hotel for the resting. This is hotel port we can use for the traveling as well as resting. This gives a 360 view and minimum impact on environment. Now we are discuss about smart road. So for the smart road we are using the solar energy to transfer the electricity, right? We use this type of technology. In the future we have a glow in the dark type road, which is used by a photoluminescence powder. Then after uh, interactive light we can use in the future. Then after we can use melt snow by electricity. Melt snow by electricity. And we are going to use for future, we are use reduce traffic accident as well as government spending on roads. We are going to reduce this both two things in the future. Now we have some technology which we can use in the future, like ground level pedestrian light. Ground level pedestrian light, you can see here this light at a ground level, and this will combine with your traffic. You can see here is a changing light. It's called a ground level pedestrian light. Right. Then after we can, in the future, bicycle share programs will be increased. Bicycle share program means you don't have to buy some vehicles other. There is a bicycle, or we can use on the rent. We can use this bicycle on the rent. Then after smart future roads, we have technology like this. We will discuss it all in detail. Like glow in the dark, first technology we discuss it. We using luminous powder, and this will glow in the 8 hours. This will glow in the 8 hours. It will charge in the daytime and glow in the night time. Interactive light. Interactive light means when vehicle approach at the light will be glow up. Light will be glow. When vehicle approach, you can see here is a road is darker, but at this portion this light up because there's vehicle approaching here. Vehicle approaching here. So this type of light we can see in the future. Then after wind power lights, street light is using their own power generation by using wind turbine. By using wind turbine, it's called wind power light. Then after this, electric priority lane. Electric priority lane. This type of lane you can see in the future. We have to provide a special lane for charging electrical vehicles. In the future, if we are using some electrical vehicles, and for the long distance journey we don't have looking for the charging station, we just drive our vehicles on this lane and our vehicle will be charged automatically, right? This is called electric recharge lane, and we call it electric priority lane. These are the special lane for charging electrical vehicles. Then after solar roadways, like this, yeah. Now road generate electricity via photovoltaic panels, and by this electricity we can use in electrical light, heating element, and wireless charging technology. We can use this solar energy generation. Then after kinetic road we discussed in the previous lecture. There is an Italian startup which is convert kinetic energy produced by moving vehicle into electrical vehicles. Then after traffic technology we have used some loop detector. In the traffic technology we use loop detector. What happened in the loop detector? Assume your vehicle passing from here, and this sudden change in the electricity, and this will be recorded here. The sudden change in electricity, this will be recorded here, and by this we can calculate a traffic on the road. Okay, and this technology we use for the maintenance of traffic. This is called traffic technology. We use loop detector for maintaining a traffic. Assume there is a vehicle quickly passing from it, and sudden the second vehicle coming, and there will be slow down on the vehicles. This impact says there is a traffic ahead. If vehicle speed slow down, that means traffic on the road, and by this loop detector we can use this sensor for the managing a traffic, right? Same thing we can use for by the cameras, but this technology is more expensive. Then after these things, electronic display sign, you can see, you can message anything on this sign, right? If I can say there is a zone 30 kilometer per hour, but I want to increase the speed, so I can change it 70 kilometer per hour, right? Just feed some data and our sign will be changed. This will be used in the future by combination of camera as well as loop detector. If traffic, we have face a traffic on the upward side of the road, so we can sign is there is a diversion, we can sign diversion on this sign, so maintain a traffic by this. Then after we have a smart tag, so in the India we are using a fast tag right now. Fast tag, right, is the smart tags, right? Then after self-filling concrete road, you can see here is a bacteria on the concrete, and this automated road is automatically repaired themselves, right? This bacteria contact with the water and generate a slurry, and this slurry fill the crack. Then after road vehicle communication, road vehicle means road and vehicle communication. By this you can see communication by use of camera and sensor for detect a traffic, and this information real time back to upstream vehicle through digital signage, through digital signage. Then after smart life pole, you can see here this is the U shape, okay, and here is a smart life pole. What happened when the vehicle approach at this road and the vehicle did not recognize there is a second vehicle is coming same way from the different direction, from the opposite direction, and that will cause an accident. At that time, this smart life pole will blow a horn to alert a driver about other vehicles from the opposite direction. You can see here this blow horn for alert vehicle driver. There is a someone vehicles, another vehicles from the opposite direction, right? So advantages of smart roads. Smart road is autonomous vehicles. They generate electricity. Smart road increases safety, driving faster and save the times, and reduce congestion and reduce pollution and help conserve environment. These are the advantages of smart road. But there is a one and disadvantages which is expensive, expensive, and as well as we need a upgrade in every day of time, right? Now we are talking about smart future railways. So first we have a driverless train. Driverless train means we are using some technology which we run a train by a without driver, self driving train. Okay, this will be use automatic train operation system. There is a computer is monitor and corrected by automatic train protection system. This called driverless. Second is hydrogen train. Hydrogen train means we are using the hydrogen as a fuel to produce electricity, and by this electricity train is running. Train use this electricity for their running, so it's called hydrogen train. So in the hydrogen train we have a hydrogen tank which is used for the storage of hydrogen, and by this using a hydrogen we generate fuel cell. We storage hydrogen we using by a hydrogen tank, by a fuel cell we generate energy, electricity, and this electricity will run the train, right? And we have a byproduct is water. We have a byproduct is water, right? Now maglev train simple we can call this maglev train. In a magnetic levitation, we have two sets of magnet. One is for the pusher train of the track, pusher train of the track, and second is move elevated train ahead. Means we are using two sets of magnet, and there is no moving parts. There is no wheels which are used for the maglev trains. Okay, and the magnet which control the train stability and speed, and this operation is 2004. So we have a three types of magnet trains. First is electromagnetic suspension, second electrodynamic suspension, and the last one is induced drag. First is electromagnetic. Just change in the location of the magnet, and our types will be changed. There is a force that in this we use a 1.3 centimeter above the guide rail. So a train will be increased height by 1.3 centimeter only by electromagnetic suspension method. And the second one is electrodynamic. You can see there is a location of the magnet is changed. There is a magnet will be same, but just change in the location and it will change the type. There is simple purpose. There is a purpose only simple. Use for the levitation. Use for the levitation. And electrodynamic method 1 to 10 semi height will be increasing. 1 to 10 semi height will be increasing. A second, and the last one, induced track. Induced track is developed in Indore, Madhya Pradesh. You can see here only magnet location will be changed, and we are using a wheel on there. And this height will be increased more than 10 centimeter. Okay, these are going to develop in India. Now you can see here is a GIF, so you can see how maglev train work. Okay, assume there is a red is a north, okay, and the blue is south. So you can see here is a, look at here, is one is red, then after blue, then after again red, again blue. This will be happened by electricity. This changing north and south pole by electricity, and this will attract a train magnets and your train moving, right? After hyperloops. Hyperloops means a sealed tube or system of tube through which pod may travel free of air friction conveying people or object. And this designed to float on an air space using magnetic levitation. In the hyperloop, we are using magnetic levitation. Like you can see here is the tubes we have. Okay. So by this tube, our hyperloop generated, there is generated vacuum in the tube. So there is no air friction on the pod, as well as by the levitation there is no friction at wheel. So we can assume theoretically there is zero friction on the pod, so we can increase maximum speed by this pod. Right. This is called hyperloop. Now metro. Metro is suitable for the metro city or metropolitan. This is a high capacity and most efficient in terms of energy consumption, space occupancy, number of transported. The train is specifically designed to run in a metropolitan cities. So simple is a metro we use in the metropolitan city. There is no use for the longer distance transportation. This is used only for the inside of the city transportation. And we have discussed about Ahmedabad Metro, which built by Gujarat Metro Rail Corporation Limited. okay, is aimed to implement all metro project in Gujarat. So this company, this construction company, Corporation Limited, is built only for implement all metro project in Gujarat. Now phase 1. Phase 1 is for under construction. Phase 1 is under construction. Total length is 40.03 kilometer and 33.05 kilometers is elevated and 6.53 kilometers is underground. And we have a two corridors is north-south corridor connected with Gaspar Depot to Modera Stadium and east-west corridor is faster ground to Thalpej ground. These are the two connections. Then after second phase is approved. Means it's not in the under construction but is approved and there is total length is 28.24 kilometer. Modera Mandir corridor to Gujarat National Law University and connect Gift City corridor. These are the phase 2 is approved. Now we have 10 cities in India which have a metro railway in operation, like first Kolkata, Delhi, Bengaluru, Gurugram, Mumbai, Chennai, Jaipur, Kochi, Hyderabad and Lucknow. Right? Advantages of metro train. There is a most efficient in terms of energy consumption, space occupancy and numbers of transported, very high volume of peak hour directives causing no air pollution, much less sound pollution, low energy consumption, carrier is much traffic and very low ground space occupation and reduced journey time. These are the advantages of metro train. Now we are going to discuss about future vision of airport. Future vision of airport, we have the airport, we have two methods. First is innovation in technology. First is innovation in technology and second on security. Now first we discuss about at airport innovation technologies. So first is automated check-in. You can see here this type of machines are used for the automated check-in. Means you can collect your ticket from here, you can collect your boarding pass from here. Okay, and this automated check-in check your passport as well as visa. Right, this is called automated check-in, and by this automated check-in you can book your ticket online and collect your ticket from here. Then after bag collection and tracking. Bag collection means what? You have to collect your bag at any place. You don't have to wait at airport for collecting your bags. If you reach at hotel and you write it a restaurant room number, you inform airport about your room number. At that time your luggage will be reached at your hotel room number without your information, right? And you can track your luggages. If you can see your mobile, you can track your luggages, like you track your parcels, right? You can track your parcels. Same thing, you can track your luggage. Then after laser modular body scanner, these are the technology which is developed as a medical device, which is developed at medical device, and we can use it at a security, as a security. From the distance 164 kilometer, from the distance 164 kilometer, right? Look at here. Here we have two figures. First is a regular body scanner. It's a regular body scanner, and the second is a laser pointer. This equipment is called laser pointer. You just have to put your laser on the human. You can detect all the data without inform this without affect this human's dignity. You can check any human without affect their dignity, right? But there is a too much information for that. You can read it here. There is a constipated human have a eat a burrito. So anything on this human you can see at here. Okay. Now second is biometric scanner. Biometric scanner means we can scan a facial feature, iris pattern, and fingerprint. It's called biometric scanner. Parking robots. We can use a parking robots. These robots can park your vehicle without handing over keys. Without handing over your this robot can park your vehicle any of this type of parking area. And one more thing, when you return from your journey, your vehicle will be left when you want at your car park area, right? This will be and this robot is developed by Stanley Robotics. Stanley Robotics. You can see here is the symbol SR. Is Stanley Robotics. Now, driverless and automated vehicles. Driverless and automated vehicles. These are used inside the airport. These used inside the airport to reach our planes. To reach planes. Right? We use buses for the transportation from the airport to the runway. Okay, and this bus will be driverless. This will be driverless. So this type of technology can be used. And the next one is translation technology. Translation technology. Imagine there is an airport. There is a human coming from the so many countries and speaking so many languages. If you have knowledge about this type of languages, which is 14 languages we can use on the airport, so how we communicate? You have to learn all 40 languages, right? So at that time we can use this new technology which is developed by Google Pixel Bird Bluetooth. Google Pixel Bird Bluetooth. This technology translates 40 languages, and this technology can be used in an airport for the communication. And airport handling means luggage can be handled by a air outside of the airport. Right? The need to focus on the passenger. Need to focus on the passenger means we have a biometric digital identification, invisible process. Invisible process means a security checking can be invisible, so cannot be damage a dignity, a respect of an self-respect of any person is called invisible process. Some process will be invisible, okay, with little or no impact on passenger perception of security, right? Then after whole airport security, human factor means interaction with the staff at the airport will be fewer, will be less, but more qualitative. Applying risk management, adaptive screening means multiple mode of operation, reduction of alarms, and more open architecture of system, sharing baggage images between different entities. Right? Now we have a Indian scenario. What India have to face in the future? So by the survey, in next 5 India become third largest aviation market. India become third largest aviation market. Right now, India is seventh biggest aviation market. Right in the 2020, India is the seventh biggest aviation market. But in the future, India become third largest aviation market, and this will be Vision 2040. Now we have to discuss about in-year scenario. What happened in India in the aviation market? First of all, India is the world seventh biggest aviation market. India is the world's seventh biggest aviation market, and after the next 5 years, it expects to become third largest. It's expected to become third largest, and by Vision 2040 is the report. Vision 2040 is the report, and this report says there is an Indian air traffic passenger will be hit 1.1 billion by 2040. So we have to build an airport for this 1.1 billion air passengers. We have to provide some facilities to these passengers, right? So solution is build a more airports. Okay, how we build? So top 31 cities, we have a two airports. It's a future. It's a future. We have to build a two airports in a top 31 cities, but in a Delhi and Mumbai like cities, which is a maximum high population. This has a three airports. This has a three airports, right? Now future of seaport. Seaport. So by the future of seaport, we have to provide security, decision making, complex complaints and communication, flexibility, resource and utilization, and satisfaction of terminal operation. So this will be points, this will be topic we have to discuss about seaport and improve by some technology in the future, right? So first of all, future of seaport, we have to access control, wireless mobility, network video surveillance, container security, and shore side. First of all, access control means if you want to enter in the port, we have fascicle, retina, iris, head geometry scan, which we provide on the airport, as well as the technology will be provided at the ports, right? Wireless mobility means we are use GPS and wireless for the communication of crane, forklift and trucks, right? So by the crane, forklift and truck, these all are connected each other by GPS and wireless. That means we can under easily maintain a port, a dock. Then after network video surveillance means we provide a CCTV on the deck, on the dock for the video surveillance. But there is a one more condition here. By this CCTV, if we use a PoE switch and we are network video and monitor, we have to provide one server room, and this will be recorded on only on the local PC. So we have to sit on one room, on one room and watch the CCTVs. But when we connect this with the router, PoE switch with the router, so we can surveillance from any other area by the using internet. These are the network video surveillance, right? Then after container security means prevent unauthorized parties from tampering with cargo. We provide security for the container and ensure do not hold proscribed goods such as stolen automobiles and weapons. This will be container security. We have to provide security to container so unauthorized party will cannot damage our cargo, and as well as there will be no transport automobiles and weapons as well as our antiques from other country, right? Shore side powers means most of our ships are moving forward electrical ship concept, means most of the ships we are used by electrical energy from fuel generate of fuel, right? So we use shore side power. So we have a 12 major ports in India. First is Kandla, Mumbai, Jawaharlal Nehru Port, Marmugao, New Mangalore, Cochin, Chennai, Annalore, वो कोयम्बतूर means Tuticorin, वो चिदम्बरम means Tuticorin, Visakhapatnam with Vizag, Pradeep and Kolkata. Pradeep and Kolkata. These are the 12 major ports of India. Now we have some initiative which we use for the Indian government to develop the port. First is a Sagarmala project. Sagarmala project is used for the modernized seaport. This Sagarmala project connect all the ports of India, means these 12 ports will connect by a roadway, is called Sagarmala project. And after we have one more initiative which is National Maritime Development Program. National Maritime Development Program. This is used for the develop maritime sector. Then after third one is Haldia Port. Haldia Port in a West Bengal. And this will be developed as an all-weather port. And this will be a first green port in the future which using biodiesel on the railway engine and truck and as well as other vehicles. Is called Haldia project, which is developed by Indian government. After we have a National Waterway 1, National Waterway 2, National Waterway 3. These all National Waterway are in use, and National Waterway 4 and National Waterway 5 are under construction. So you have just remember where the National Waterway 1. National Waterway 1 on the Ganga River and is connect UP, Bihar, Jharkhand and West Bengal. Length is 1620 km. National Waterway 2 on the Brahmaputra River in Assam, 891 km. National Waterway 3 on the West Coast Canal, Champakara Canal and Udyogmala Canal. Means these two are natural waterway and these are artificial. This is on the Kerala, length 205 km. National Waterway 4 is Kakinada Canal, Komamuru Canal and Buckingham Canal. This will be on Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu under construction, and this will be 1095 km. National Waterway 5 is East Coast Canal, West Bengal, 623 km. These all are artificial. These all three are artificial waterway. Now you can see this figure. Here is a National Waterway 1, National Waterway 3, National Waterway 3, National Waterway 4 and National Waterway 5. Right? Now we have to protecting aquatic biodiversity. we have to focus on this, because national waterway which is built on the river, and this river which have aquatic biodiversity, so we have to protect it, right? So in the Ganga, aquatic life will be mostly damaged because of this national waterways, right? So we have to protect this area, protect this biodiversity, means aquatic biodiversity means we have to protect animals which is live on this river. Now we have discussed about sea canal. So function of sea canal is simple: to create a shortcut, create a navigable ship link between landlocked seas and lake, to provide inland cities with direct shipping link to the sea, and to provide economic alternative to other options. And we have two canals, which is Panama and Suez, which is sea canal. So here is a Panama canal. You can see here Panama canal, and here is the route of Panama canal. Is artificial canal constructed in 1914. Length is 82 km. Connect Atlantic Ocean with Pacific Ocean. Managed by Panama Canal. So look at here how much route it will be reduced. You can see here is a route before Panama Canal constructed. This route of the ship, and after Panama Canal construction, our route will be reduced. Same thing for the Suez Canal. Suez Canal constructed in 1959 or 1869. Side canal opened in 2060. Length is 193 km. Connect Red Sea and Mediterranean Sea. You can see here is Asia and here is Africa, and the Suez Canal connect in Egypt. Connect at Egypt. Now look at here how use a route of the waterway. Look at here, yeah. So you can easily reach from the London to Mumbai by a Mediterranean Sea. It's called Suez Canal. Now we have discussed about underground tunnel. Underground tunnel means dug through a surrounding soil, earth and rock. And we have a two entrance and exit, only two entrance and exit, and may be used for the vehicle, rail traffic and canal. We have so many underground tunnels in the world, but we have discussed about only one tunnel which we use in the future, which is called Los Angeles Tunnel, and it's built by Elon Musk Boring Company. Futuristic transport system, and he called it as a loop. He called it as a loop. You can see this figure. Here is your vehicles and one moving platform which is connected with your vehicles, and then after this go underground the tunnel, and you will reach at 150 km without driving your vehicles. You don't have to drive your vehicles. This platform will reach a speed of 150 mega per hour, miles per hour, right? You can see here it is a portfolio, there are testing time, but you can see here is a car which is reach as a tunnel from the road, and then after this platform which used for the traveling. Look at here, right? This platform here used for the transportation from one location to another, and this platform will reach a speed 150 miles per hour, right? Now we have to discuss about tunnels, how we can boring a tunnels. You can see this GIF. Now technology improve in future, we have to use geological prediction, means we are using a new field, rock mechanism. To this mechanism, new technology, new theory, new field we have to learn, and then after we have to understand rock mass properties, geostresses, and analytical method for applying result to design underground openings. This is new field we have to study, which is called geological prediction. Then after new rock cutting method, we have used so many new rock cutting method: high pressure water jet, Russian water cannon, electronic beam and flame jet. Right? This is the rock cutting method we can use for the tunnel. Material handling system. We are using long belt conveyor, high speed rail, and hydraulic pneumatic pipelines. These are the scheme now under study, so we can use in the future. Then after we have a improve a ground support, lining material, and prevention ground strength, preservation of ground strength. This technology we have to improve. Now we have discussed about underwater tunnel. So underwater tunnel we have a two underwater tunnel. There is the first is Japan and Honshu Island. Between Japan and Honshu Island. Honshu Island is a part of Japan and this is the longest railroad tunnel, 34 miles. And the second one is France and England, which called English Channel Tunnel. They are using special car for auto transportation, and we have a twin module executed tunnel. Or in the future, we have a other crossing between Denmark and Sweden and Sicily to Italy. Sicily is the island which is separated from the Italy, and Denmark and Sweden is both are a country, and these both are separated by a, we can say, a Baltic Sea, by a Baltic Sea. So in the Baltic Sea we can build a underwater tunnel. You can see here is underwater, you can see here is water and here is a tunnel. So we have a three types of tunnel. First is a floating tunnel. Underwater tunnel we have a three types. First is a floating tunnel, second one is immersed tunnel, and the third one is submarine tunnel. Just depend on the location of the tunnels, but we have to discuss about floating tunnel. Look at here. Here is a two types of tunnel. First is using by a pontoon and second one is using by a foundation. So submerged floating tunnels, we have a suspended tunnels, Archimedes bridges, tunnel that float in the water. That is simple, float in the water. So we have a basic principle. So two wave floating tunnel. First is a positive buoyancy and second one is negative buoyancy. So here by this figure you can see here is a one is a positive and the second one is negative. So this pontoon we called it as a positive. This is a negative. Simple. Positive buoyancy, which we use fixed in a position by anchor either means of tension. So by using a pontoon we use positive buoyancy, and by a foundation we use negative buoyancy. Okay. So there is a relation between buoyancy and self weight is very important. We have to maintain this thing in the. Now we have a components with structural components of SFT, which is called floating tunnels, submerged floating tunnels. SFT, we have three components. First is a tube, second one is anchoring, and the last one is shore connection. So look at here. Here is a tube, here is anchoring, and the last one is shoring connection, which is connected between the soil and water. These are the three components of submerged floating tunnel. Right? Now I give some practice questions for you. Enlist a futuristic vision of transportation and explain any force. So we have to enlist futuristic vision of transportation and explain any force. Define smart railway, explain maglev train. Hyperloop and explain submerged floating tunnel. Now here I change the one question is here. Explain futuristic vision of road transportation and explain any four. Right? So it is a practice question. Okay students, so our lecture is completed. Next lecture we discuss about futuristic vision of energy generation. Till then, take care and goodbye.